What's going on, everybody? I'm CaptainRoBear, and this is... We don't know, because it's the new campaign, Session 0! Doesn't even have a name yet.
I thought you were going to tell us.
No.
Yeah, I was expecting the reveal.
Oh man!
This is it.
What is it? What is it?
It's literally Baldur's Gate.
I mean, we don't get to pick out of a bag of adjectives and a bag of nouns and piece it together.
No, it's 100% where somebody might find us on YouTube and no other creative assets past that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I've succumbed to the dark side. That's how this thing works now.
SEO's a bit.
But hey, the newest thing is this is where you'll find us. It's going to be on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. The Wednesdays are going to be the secondary entertainment day. So get used to this. If you were all, man, you know what? I can only carve one day out for D&D a week. You're going to have to get used to Thursday nights because that's how we're rolling. Still same time slot though. You won't have to worry about that. I should probably let the Discord know that I'm live.
Nah, you know, they'll figure it out.
Those guys don't care.
I'm supposed to be here.
This is the only way that they know.
If they're like me, I must be told multiple times in different ways before it finally sticks.
True.
If you could also send it by owl, that would help. That would really just solidify.
It's like the little Hogwarts letter,
Yes.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
The stream is starting.
I know what Shay's gonna send me now. Oh yeah, so you guys have heard us talk about it several times already, that we wanted to take campaign 2, specifically wanted to go into urban a little bit because we haven't done that with like giant sprawling urban city, and with Baldur's Gate having a focus because of Larian Games D&D Baldur's Gate that is in early access right now, but will be developed over the course of the year. We thought, you know what? Let's help tell stories inside of Baldur's Gate. Appreciate you guys tossing cards, but you don't need to toss any cards tonight because we don't have, we will not be playing to use those cards. So please hold on to them.
That's why you rolled a one.
I appreciate the eye, and then you roll one for me. We're starting this campaign off just about as right as it can be. All right. You know what? I just about started a new file to take notes, speaking of cards, and then I remembered, oh shit, I already made an entire Excel spreadsheet for this shit. It's true, you did.
Winning.
You're very extra.
No, you know what? It'll be useful over the iterations that we have gone through. There's going to be a lot of little modifications like that. One in particular, and it'll be good to have a source document there for not only us but for folks in the community. They're trying to figure out their head from their ass on our homebrew, because there is a lot of questions about what we do as far as D&D, and I'll be honest, a lot of them probably aren't going to be that useful for your games at home, but they're very useful for running D&D as a show. A lot of our homebrew is about getting through combat and trying to not be held down, because there's balancing within 5th edition that's like, oh, okay, you're only going to be playing with 3 or 4 friends, and all of a sudden you have a jam-packed initiative on a show where people can only talk one at a time. And that's where a lot of our homebrew usually ends up coming from. So it'll be cool. You'll be able to see the list and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can use this for my game. Maybe I can't. But it'll be nice for you guys to have a visualization of that as well. Couch, I got your card back to you here as well. Bam. So you can roll another one for Adam another time.
We can all laugh again in the future.
Such a benevolent DM.
That's just rude. Okay.
We have magic items. We got over 450 new magic items to pull from.
Ooh.
Inside pools. Not to mention, rolling the D100 isn't going to do the same thing every time. It also randomizes the list. as well to pull
Nice.
from. So
I mean, I-81 is going to be the same fearful deck it always has been.
yeah, you won't know. Just like rolling an 8 on the wild magic table, you don't know if that's going to set you in flames or not.
At least you'll be warm either way.
Yeah, that'd be fun mixing it up. I've learned a lot. I know one thing, like for me, I want more loot out, but I don't need it to like change the facet of someone's power level. So for me, generating loot with like interesting decisions for you to pick up and like, okay, it's got a cool benefit on it. Maybe this piece of loot has a feat attached to it. Maybe you know, maybe it does an extra 1d4 cold damage, and I get you know 2 weeks later I get one that does an extra d6 fire damage. And I'm like, oh, okay. Give the players more like RPG utility with going through loot, and not so much like as it's right now. They're almost only done as like, oh, here's a milestone. Like every piece of loot right now, like completely changes the character's ability and power level somewhat, and that's mainly just me being organized with those loot tables going in to be like, okay, cool, here we go. I can rattle off you know, loot from a pack of bandits pretty quick without having to have sat down and gone, man, what can I get them for this? That makes a big difference.
Yeah,
Makes it more
that'll be nice.
manageable.
That's one thing that we've lacked in the other campaign is the thrill of loot. Sometimes, I mean, it's always, you know, like you said, it's always kind of a big thing. It's never like I checked some douchebag's pocket when he, you know, in the woods and he had a roll of 20s or, you know, something stupid.
Yeah,
Spread some goblet cheese and find some gold.
You gotta get yourself organized, because all of a sudden by accident you start giving out like super powerful weapons. Like that's where it goes on my side. It's like, man, there's just like no in between. Or what it will do is it will be like, oh, okay, well, here's a spell scroll, and then it makes you do all the extra work. The new tables, like, it tells me exactly what the spell scroll is right when it pops up. So it's like 6th level, here's what the spell scroll is. Like I don't even have to go through, like, it's a good randomizer. And
That's nice.
And that also helps with finding items that are useful, because it's just a hassle to have so many items, and half of them you're like, well, this will never come into play.
You're like, I can't attune to all of these because I have 30 of them.
you know,
I'm sorry. Do you play by attunement? Maybe. I don't know about you, but I'm operating under the ask for forgiveness principle. You can't be attuned to 10 items. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my bad.
that's or you can just be the artificer, which just allows you to be attuned to everything.
Yeah, that's true.
You're officially Tony Stark by the end of it.
All right, changing my class.
I know one thing in particular. I haven't really got to talk to the group about it, but I do know that we've done the 20s or greater than 1s. We've kind of play tested it for a little bit, but that's one thing that we're definitely not doing inside this campaign, because over the course of its play test, what it actually does is helps all my bad guys out, because I roll exponentially more than they do. So me being stacked with more disadvantage actually gives me a benefit over time with it. And I have noticed by playing that it has. Because they don't roll as much as I do. So it's actually, it's one of those things where you try to do something really cool because you're at the table and you're like, oh, somebody rolls a 20 and you want them to keep it. And it feels like, oh man, I should just let them keep that 20. Well, if you go over and do it on my side, you actually end up making it a huge detriment. And I broke out of more disadvantages than the group ever did with it. I broke out of a lot of disadvantages because of it. So
you got higher probability, right? Because you're rolling a lot more, right? So
it's just
like
math.
You're just gonna naturally hit them. Yeah.
I'm just naturally going to hit more of them. So that's one that we're going to walk back on. I know in particular, we'll get to that when we get to your class. but there's going to be a long list of changes there. Thematically, we're still playing heroically. There's still going to be hero points, but we are going to make it a little bit grittier. We're going to make it a little bit more risk to going all out than there was before. And you'll see that with the stream loot cards, especially switching over to the new ones. There are going to be a lot of cases where, well, you can do that, but the risk is that you take exhaustion. So every time you physically exert yourself, there are going to be these penalties of stacking exhaustion, and players are going to have to balance that off. So if they push themselves to the limit, that's going to be that great balancing factor. Because what we found later on, especially late game after accumulating a lot of cards, it is my turn, axe and surge. I'm just going to go because I know there's 3 rounds of combat. I'm going to do as much as I can right off the bat. And we want it to be more of a choice. But also, it's my job to make sure that we don't just do 3 rounds of combat and then we get 4 or 5. That's my challenge on this campaign, is to keep it much more concise to where we can move through. And we learned a lot over a 2-year campaign about what works as D&D for a show and what doesn't. And you know, I'm gonna try never to put myself through the the invasion of the Frost Giant capital ever again.
You guys heard it here first. Everyone take Create Undead, please.
I got a we've done pretty good managing out pets and how we do it, and we're like, okay, if it goes up to this size, we group roll on here. We've done a good job on managing those. What's happened to us late game is we have 1,000 storyline NPCs with other moving parts that make them valuable to a scene here and there. Now I know it's like, okay, if I do that, I work them into the scene, but I'm not putting them in the combat order. I'm going to have them fight somewhere in it, and I just story tell it and add components to that instead of having them directly in there. I think one character in there, if it's like you're taking it through, it's not a big deal, but all of a sudden, good God, we were all playing 2 characters at one point in time, 2 extra NPCs.
Yeah, well, plus the big bads having 4,000 bodyguards as well on top of our party.
Yeah, like how do you show threat level without, like, you know, stacking? Sometimes you have to, what you have to do is story tell the war that's in the front, and then, okay, you're just getting up to the most elite, like story tell cutting through all the plebs, you know. And then sometimes you story tell and Ruby Shore decides to crowd surf into your storytelling, and you're like, I'm not actually prepared to. No, don't go there. No. Oh God, we're there now. You know, and then you get bailed out by a meteor swarm.
Well, it's also
the beauty of D&D is that you can do almost anything.
It's also hard because the way, like, we run combat, like, from the enemy side, like, you know, traditionally in D&D, I think a lot of people would group roll like ads, but you know, you don't, and I like that you know, they're usually split up into groups, or they're not all like uniform same bad guys, like rolling 5 guys at one time or 10 guys at one time.
It's just not, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
It's boring. And it's but at the same time, when you're doing it, you know, like as a show, it's hard because then you split them up into groups, and now each group has to go, and, like, you know what I mean? They all have their own initiative, and so that's the other side of that coin, where you're like, oh yeah, they're all unique and individual, and but now they all have to have a fucking turn in the turn order.
Yeah, you just got, it's just a balance, man. It is just a balance for sure. Just scrolling through here in chat. I thought there was a question about what is a community game. Cursed items. most of the cursed items that are built in are way too strong in D&D, and they're like super punishing.
Give me that hand of Vecna.
I go pretty light on cursed items. There may be more opportunities here at the start of them, but a lot of them are pretty ridiculous and take homebrewing over to fix, because it's like, okay, it's cursed items. A lot of them in D&D look like gotcha. Ha! Okay. You know, unless we're gonna tell a story with it, like, I'm not killing random players. Like, it's just not gonna be.
If you want to pull a gotcha move, you can always just put a fucking trap in a dungeon. At least that's fun.
Traps well.
At least that's fun.
We are not a trap group. We are a dense group that runs into things.
Well, we could be a trap
Traps are
group.
bad.
I don't know what you're talking about. We've never met.
We just don't ever have to, you know. Just saying, if you're gonna go for a gotcha moment, you know, you could at least make it a puzzle.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh, it's a cursed item and it fucking.
Or you
just
keep
kills
it like in a story element, like when Gil found out his dad wasn't actually his dad. You're like, it's those gotcha moments,
motherfucker.
where you're like, what? Wait, time out. Hold up. Rewind. What? You know? And not, oh, this sword now possesses you and you no longer can do anything you want to do and you have to do its beck and call for the rest of the campaign.
Oh, and you know what? This also ties into it too, Couch, because you like to know personally what's going on and backseat DM a lot. So I also like to respond back by changing all of those items to get you out of your headspace, because you're very concerned with playing this metagame. And I'm using you as the example in the most friendly way that I can. There's a lot of people that play the game the same way as you do, and they think about it when they watch, and they think about these items and how they interact. I try to strip all that away so you guys can focus on the story. So it's not this, oh man, what's going to happen with this? I try to limit the audience with as much information as I can. Same way that I dynamically change hit points. I would go out of my brain if you guys were screaming out monster hit points in my chat. I would be ripping out, banning folks, tossing them. It's focusing on all the wrong things. But that's what those, you know, when we're talking, especially like items like that, I like to allude, like, it's good to know, like, Holy Avenger, badass weapon. It's cool to go in knowing, like, okay, there's something really cool from D&D, but I like to change it enough a little bit so people aren't screaming out, no, you need to do this, your aura, you're this, you're that. And now, because one, we don't care. And two, like, it gets overbearing within the actual, you know, chat of the show. We want entertainment, reactions, and talking about, you know, what's going on, and not, we don't need another layer of metagaming actually within it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and it's oftentimes like, well, we might be saving it for like a character development. Like even with beta, I didn't bring werewolf out for a while because it wasn't time. There wasn't the motivation, even though there's a capability. Or we'll have discussions beforehand. Like you'll often say, like, we'll ask before stream, like, hey, we have this. How does this work again? Can it fit into these situations? And it's good to clarify, like, nah, don't worry about that. Or in this situation, that's not really going to be the best fit in its interpretation. And that doesn't always show on screen, but
yeah,
it's still, we're thinking.
That's because we're playing D&D on a show, not in your mom's basement. It's two different things.
I like playing in my mom's basement. It's really cozy and they have a lot of snacks.
It's just two different things. It's, you know, one of them is focused on creating a story for other people, and the other one is focused on hanging out with your friends, telling dick jokes, and, you know, min-maxing your rolls.
I have never told a dick joke in my life.
That's Mud's own reflection of his basement game, by the way.
I wish I had a basement game.
You can play D&D at home on many facets. You can play exactly how we're playing, which is story first. It all depends.
Everyone has their own unique style,
but
of how they play.
There are some things that we do here as D&D as a show that are distinctively different. There's no doubt about that. But I think having a central place, having a G drive with some of the homebrew as we go, and I think especially as we go, because I'm an agent of change, and they can all attest to that. That's that restaurateur in me, where I'm always moving a mechanic and changing it and running with something for a while, and then maybe changing it back or changing it forward for better or worse. That's how I move forward. So having a good doc with that as we twist it up will help.
Well, that's just always good to know. Even like if you're gonna change something, you could look at the document and be like, oh, this is how we're ruling it, but I'm throwing that out. And then, and then everyone be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're all on the same page. Easy to do.
Basically, there's no wrong way for us to play.
Is there a wrong way to use your imagination? Never.
Well, Radio, you might come up with an exception for that.
That's very true. It's all about poking the DM.
No, it didn't used to be. The pandemic. The pandemic put questioning to the edge, as well as high level combat. It's not nearly that nitpicky. And that's why the high levels sometimes aren't nearly as fun, because stakes are super raised and people do want to win more than what they did before. It's not so much that they want to win, as they really just don't want to lose everything. They don't want to lose a character. So people are going to be a bit more on edge, and you'll get it.
Why do you keep skipping me?
A bit more often.
It's hard though. Like you get so attached and you're like, I thought of this great thing, and it's like, and you want to redirect it in the worst way possible.
You, RoBear.
No.
I've never said that
You're right.
once.
Something else happened, but I really wish it hadn't.
We don't do that here.
No, they're always passive aggressive comments first.
Oh.
I guess they're gods, so I guess that's fine.
Whatever.
Fine, it's just my 8th level spell. Fuck me, right?
Counterspell it, Will.
Two
Excuse me while I take a
years
drink.
in the row, like 2 years, it's like you are your character, and it's hard not to be like, ah.
This is just
Earlier,
payback.
I'm
He
like,
doesn't
"Ah."
want me to get out of here.
Yeah. Earlier, it was like, oh, Ruby lost a leg. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. She'll grow it back. I'm sure it's fine. I mean,
Just rub some
Mudcat's
dirt on it.
Murdering his characters early on. 2 years in, though, it becomes so close that it feels very natural to have very high emotions with it all.
I'm so ready to kill the power creep. And we really didn't know. We didn't know that last week was going to be our last episode for a good while. It just worked that way. It was great. It was a really, really good ending. And those characters were tired and they need a break, like a real break, not just, okay, we take a week or 2 weeks and they have a full 2 years. We need a break from them. To be honest with you, to tell new stories, they gotta sit and marinate for a little bit, for sure. Like, they've done their thing. Hister can only take on so many new children.
How many more will there be?
Man, Corman and Dominus and Hister deserve some sort of shitty fishing trip at some point in time. Mm-hmm. This is where we get awful, like, spin-off Nintendo game IPs between what the characters do. It's it's Pokemon Snap with Chikios, Alistar and Ruby and the Fae, and shitty fishing with them, and God knows what kind of castle simulator between the new estate.
It'll be good. Plus, it feels more natural for a story. Nobody goes on and on and on constantly. You just wear yourself to death.
Yeah. He was always the big bad. And I mean, who doesn't want to see Gale Everstorm just get even more brutish as he has to search for Myra?
Come back and he's in a deep emo stage.
Isn't that just the way he operated?
Multiple years.
This time I'll have a cigarette.
It'll be fun to see when we do come back and play. At all of a sudden, probably other characters are sitting around level 6 or level 7, all of a sudden you gotta hop back on that level 20 saddle. I gotta get used to this all of a sudden. Like you you and your character both have the rust.
I'm already ready for it.
Yes.
It's in my blood.
Yeah. Mud, if you didn't know that Mud really loves the idea of level 20 and beyond characters.
Let's take this shit through level 100. Give me
I am a
15
god.
give me 15 pages of actions, please.
Is that even possible?
Nope. So no one wants to see it.
Nope.
But
Listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting to combo 18 attacks at one time.
Well, I guess that'll be easier for
Yeah,
less people fighting.
RoBear,
It's basically
okay.
it's like playing Magic the Gathering, but with a D&D character.
One turn per
The
session,
worst-
one character,
Just
4
looking to
hours.
stack the board for your ultimate turn.
the worst parts of Magic the Gathering in D&D
That's the
together.
best part.
And here he is in a person.
When you hit for 200 points, oh, that's the best. You just set up the whole board and you just make the other person question why they're even playing the game.
This is how you fuck yourself in your own mind. That's scary.
We're playing checkers. He's out here playing chess.
So we knew we wanted to do a city campaign to mix it up a little bit. We've been a lot of places over the cross of like Faerun, but I don't think we've ever really fleshed out a big city well. I've always done the job of like, we're gonna start small, but we're always kind of gonna stay small, because if we get carried away, all of a sudden, shit, we've spent 6 months, we've ran around this city and we never really got to the story beat that we were on. Most of the times when we were dropping off in the big cities, we were to go in, get a little slice, and then kind of make our way out. So it will be fun to completely dive in, and where it's like, man, you never know what's going to be on this block. Like lots
hand-rolled sausages. I'm just gonna take a guess.
That's where they did come from.
What could be on this block? Sausages.
Sausages. One of my random generators also does random shops,
Oh.
which I'm very excited about, and it even will do inventory for multiple kinds of shops.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm
What a relief.
yeah, these are the kind of tools for running improv in the city that I'm like, okay, this is where it's at. Like, this is taking that burden off. Give me the back end support there, and I can toss out a creative name and the characters in that are running it. Now you've done the gold work and the items list for me in random gen. Perfect. Awesome.
Because we're going to start running into random buildings.
Yeah, that's the scary part of a city.
Yeah.
That's that's the scary part of running an urban campaign, is because you're just, oh my god, it's a DM nightmare. Big cities are crazy because there's so much to flesh out. Now you still do it small, it's still spoking out, but you got to have all these other devices in play if you want to make it feel like it's actually alive. And then on top of that, you have to start mapping out where that was at. So like when you do these things in the improv, it's not necessary that you need to know what block it was on over here. You just need to remember what district it was in. So you simplify it, like as long as you can know, like, okay, well, what part of town is it in? Okay. But it takes some more advanced notes. Otherwise, it ends up being chaos.
A lot easier than a forest.
Seems
What do
like
I buy? A boulder. It's a nice boulder. You come back around. The boulder's not here. It got smashed. What do you want?
Seems like the perfect time to mention my character just has an obsession with opening every door he sees. He just jiggles the handle to see if it's open.
Every time.
Looks inside just to see what's in there. It's just a personality trait. Ooh, what's in here? Ooh, what's in here?
Being annoying should not be a personality trait. You know that, right?
I mean,
Why is our first 4 rounds of combat, they're all just trying to kill Mudcat's character? I don't get it.
he does it. Then one day, he's stabbed by an old lady that's going to pick up her newspaper. Like,
Don't worry, I don't need help killing my characters.
Yes.
I know how to
So
do
if
that
anybody is
just
into
fine.
map making, there's like a whole science behind map making. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating, but it's complicated. I can't even imagine doing it for a D&D campaign, bringing that to life.
nope. You write that shit by district and you move on.
Yeah.
They make some pretty cool. They got some pretty cool tools online to make it simplified. Sometimes, depending on what you're making.
I remember your paint drawings.
Not that. Well, that was me drawing in paint. That was a day of D&D Roll20. Had to throw it together
There's
with no assets.
Squiggly line is a river.
I just used the paint tool and I just painted a
Squiggly
fucking.
line is a bush.
I just used 2 blue squiggly
Yeah.
lines to make a river.
There's
What do
a
you
lot of
want?
cool tools, but then you end up going down a rabbit hole and you're like, 4 hours later, what did I do? Well, I kind of got proficient at trying to make a map through this.
Awesome.
There's I do have, I don't think I ever used it with y'all. I think I only used it on Shadow Walkers. There's a really good procedural generated cities and dungeon tool that's out there for like city maps. That's thebomb.com. If you want to go like block by block with a new city, dude, it's good.
Procedural?
Yeah,
Jeez.
That's cool.
it's real good. So many of those tools that are out there now. Really, really cool what's available at your fingertips that you can get into that helps simplify, or, most importantly for you DMs out there, patch up your weaknesses. Like, that's a big part of, this new campaign. We've identified it like loot game weak. Let's fix it. And for me, it's having efficient tables for information that I don't want to, that I have trouble bullshitting, like gold amounts. I got to look at my chart so I don't throw the imbalance off. I really want gold to matter inside this city on this campaign. I want people to be like, man, I want to go take another job because I don't have enough money. That's a big goal of mine inside this campaign, is to be like, for that to be a focus of like the daily living in a shitty city. Like, there'll be some stuff that I'm tapping into that I haven't tapped in before about the costs of actual living. So we're actually gonna have a living spreadsheet with like how much it costs to live there and rents and what's gonna be pulled out. Like, you're actually gonna have some average costs that come down. So all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I can't actually tell Jabba the Hutt to go. I think I'm gonna go and take his shitty quest.
Sounds like I'll be spending a lot of time at the casino covering expenses.
We're the first thing inside the game is everyone is betting on GameStop. Is
Yes.
first stock that's going up. Baldur's Gate Stock Exchange.
Yeah, we'll have an in-game stock exchange. That'd be nice. If you really want to take this gold thing seriously, we gotta have, it has to be based on something. We have to have physical gold in a vault somewhere that we could potentially rob. Gotta have the currency has to be backed by something.
Mud, I can't go rob that gold with you right now. I'm on a margin call, and my brokerage is coming up right after that. So you're gonna have to quest this one without me.
I'll start
the
a sell order.
I don't give financial advice, and you shouldn't trust a word anybody says on this show either.
Or what the fish say.
or what the fish say. If you know that inside joke. But enjoy watching GameStop tomorrow whenever the exchange is open. Wherever people have money that's not Robinhood, it's going to be fun to watch, everybody. Wait for that wild ride when that one gets open. Good God.
It all depends on how many shorts were able to be covered today when they shut down the app. We'll find out on Monday when they have to disclose their positions.
Real Game of Thrones shit. Honest to God, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before in my time, where they literally robbed thousands of people in daylight.
There's been some stuff like that happen over in the cryptocurrency scene over the last few years. Like back in 2018, there was some pretty big shit that went down with stuff like that, but never in like the real market, I don't think.
Where they're just like, nope, we're gonna force sell everybody.
Well, cryptocurrencies are nuts, and that's the funny thing. I'm sitting over here like having done a lot of research on them in the past and like mined them in the past and stuff. Now to see everybody here like on Twitter being like, Dogecoin's going to the moon, and I'm like, you don't fucking start with me about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
The meme of meme currencies.
Yeah. I was like, don't fucking talk to me about Dogecoin right now. It's going to the moon. It's gonna hit $1. No, it's not. Shut up.
I'm just glad that we found out what would happen once Trump got deplatformed, where this energy would go. And I'm so glad that this chaotic glitch in the system, it's just moved over here and it's consumed people's time. Good. You know what? Hey, you want to go rich? Go for it.
I think 2021 is the year of everyone starting their own revolution. I've been trapped inside for a year and fuck the system. I'm gonna overthrow this whole little bitch.
Hey man, I'm just trying to wash my sheets consistently in 2021, man. I'm taking small steps. There
you go. Eat a little yogurt every other day.
I swear to God, they're gonna topple healthcare next.
Well, hey, you know what? Go be my guest with my premiums. Be my guest. Ugh, brutal. But back to Baldur's Gate. I think it's time we crack open and we start with one of those reveals. Radio.
What are we revealing?
Gonna make me go first?
Go. Ready, go.
Yeah, because you're not prepared to talk ever.
Never prepared to talk. I'm still curious on where this Baldur's Gate we're going to be employing ourselves in is, but I guess we'll figure it out. So how much do you want me to give?
What's your question?
It's a stall tactic.
It's a stall tactic.
What's a Baldur's
Gate? Aren't you trying?
What is the meaning of life?
Is terrible, sir.
Don't worry.
The meaning of life.
It's a lot of times when radio shouts something out and then goes, I'm kidding, and it's a statement that makes no sense at all. You were just like, what came out of your mouth?
Most of the time, people don't listen to what you say anyways. So, I mean, if you just throw some absolutely dumb bullshit in there just to fill time, most people just keep nodding their head.
Mangonomics.
Yeah.
Yep. It all works that way.
So
baby.
Only reveal what you want to reveal about your character. Just basics, man. Don't be telling them all the fun things that they're going to learn over the course. This is like just face value. If they see your character sheet right now, kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they see that, you'll see that I'm playing a rogue this time around. I played it once on a one shot and had fun with it and wanted to dig deeper into that character type. And I can't play just regular elves and shit like that. So I'm going Leonin. So I'm gonna be a giant rogue tiger just running around.
Channeling Malthus. He's going to be. I mean, Malthus is that guy who spends his entire life jumping couches in college parties. This guy, he's younger and he's driven, but he likes to stir the pot. I mean, what big kitty doesn't like to stir the pot?
Tiger, burning bright.
The first character reveal of the new campaign.
You can see him. We have him up on the overlay right now. You can see the basics. All those gray weapons.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Oh,
there he is, Josiah Marquise.
Only a +6 to roll. Oh.
Yeah. Seeing that 53 hit points there is a little scary, especially heading into a big city. I'm not used to seeing hit points that low coming from a paladin and a barbarian.
The nice thing is with being in the urban environment, tampers down fireball. Because that's the thing that's the most deadly. Like 3rd level spell that comes in and does this 30 odd average point damage that can just wipe you in an instant. In an urban campaign, there's a lot of consequences, and mine are no different when we do it. There's a lot of consequences for using that kind of magic. So people are going to always be looking for a solution that fits where they're at, because detection inside the city is always going to be an issue. It's nice knowing that when you start, the people that you're messing with generally also have a fear of someone else coming to mess them up. A lot of times right now, you're just fighting one force that you're in conflict with. Here, lots of factions, and there's an order to that. And there's a lot of people that can bully beat down others if they mess with them. So a lot of people are walking on eggshells, not just the new characters. It'll be interesting to see how people's backgrounds apply within this backdrop of Baldur's Gate. Who is actually living here? Who is new? There's going to be a lot of story that's told with who are the city mice and who are the country mice. It'll definitely be a large focus at the very beginning with how we incorporate and these people become a functioning party. Part of me even wanted to start off the campaign not even full, where it was broken apart in pieces to where the group wasn't actually all forced in together at the same time. But that's one of those things you just can't do with time constraints.
That'd have been cool though.
That's hard though. Flipping back for stories.
Oh, not when they're like, it would just be broke off where we're doing, it's a session of three, just those 3 people, a DM and 2 people, and building those bonds before they went in, but you just don't have enough time to be splitting people up.
Kind of like after Yonsei Ben, that kind of feel?
Yeah.
Or each in different cities. Okay.
Yeah, where it's like individual side sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Do we roll stats? No, we no longer roll stats on any of the campaigns over here. Mainly just because it'll blow a character up really quick. Now, I have a counterbalance to that I think you'll think is cooler than rolling stats. In all of our games moving forward, every player gets to take ability scores when they come up with your level. So there's no longer, do I get to take an ability score or do I get to take a feat? We use point buy, and then you're able to take ability scores as you level up, and you get to take a feat every time. Now, I haven't done this with high level fighters yet. I mean, Dante was one version of that where he had like 8 feats, something ridiculous. I may have to balance fighters with that in some way, but at the end of the day, fighters walk up and they go smash. Like, there's a reason that they get those extra things. I haven't seen a big reason yet, because I think honestly, if a fighter has those options, it'll help them build an arsenal that feels equally as strong with range. And I think you can testify to this, Radio. There's these encounters where you feel like, oh man, this fucking sucks. Like, it's a cat and mouse game, and I feel like I can't do anything. and I can't reach the boss, and what damage I am doing is so little, and you feel a little out of it. I hope that within this system that they're able to build like, okay, well, I do this, but I also have a really good weapon that I can attack with range I don't feel bad about. You know, those kind of builds would allow to have a great weapon master and a sharpshooter on the same character and not feel crazy. We'll see. We'll play test through it, but
when I built my character for this campaign specifically, I wanted to do something that I had an idea to do that I really liked, like the concept and fighting style. But if we were not going to take extra feats with the levels, there's no way I would play this character. It would be such shit without them.
And that's cool. It gives you the keys to be more creative about your character if you want to be. But if you don't, like, Mud can make a really cool build now that's going to interact with multiple feats. But at the same time, somebody doesn't want to go as deep. Okay, well, I take lucky, and I'm gonna grab me a couple reroll dice, and I'm gonna grab some, a couple of meta things that's like, okay, it's nice to have, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not integral to trying to play the character that you're trying to play. And this all goes back to when we first started playing D&D. We wanted to create the Van Helsing character, and you couldn't create them unless you were 5th level human with just the right, where they started off with a feat, because of it. Like, you couldn't create like this person, and we're like, no, this archetype, this witch hunter, this dual wielding crossbow person, like, we're not trying to tell the story of how they became that. Like, they are that. We're trying to tell the story as they become a better version of that. And I think that's why one of the reasons why I just stay in the lower levels of D&D so much is like, no, or like, I don't need and this is how they grew up as a kid and training wheels. Like, I want them to have an idea of what they are. Now, somebody can totally role play somebody that's trying to find their way. That's fine, but that's a cognitive decision. Most of the time when you sit down, you're like, no, I'm pretty sure I know who I am. I would like to swing twice. Like, combat feels god awful that other way around where you only have one piece. It feels like hardcore death mode.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it gave me the ability to be like, I want to do this thing with my character, but doing that's going to like sacrifice things either at the higher level or mid levels that are really going to make it not a viable character in battle. But if you give me these extra feats, I can use them to mitigate the drawback of that and create a cool character that's appropriately leveled.
Hell yeah.
And does some pretty cool stuff thematically, because then you can get way more creative when you can just add feats and be like, oh yeah, it's going to look like this.
I think that's a good segue for you to drop your character.
Boom.
We are playing multi-classed monk blood hunter named Aelune. I'm a wood elf. I think that's it. Living in Baldur's Gate. I'm already there.
I actually didn't know that you were Blood Hunter Monk.
Mm-hmm.
Were you always Blood Hunter Monk?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I thought you were all monk.
Nope.
Oh, this is the first time I've looked at his sheet too.
I built this thing about 5 different ways, all the way to level 20, choosing all sorts of different options. And I thought about multi-classing with fighter and multi-classing with other shit, but I'm like, it's gonna be good. I don't want to say too much more, but that's...
What color's your hair?
What color's my hair? It's black. Do you want to see a picture? I have a picture.
In chat, if you're wondering, yes, this means that I actually have to learn every little thing that the Blood Hunter does, finally.
That sounds like you don't trust me to read.
I mean, it is you, not me. I mean, there'd be a difference there.
No, there's a lot of things I have to, it's like anything else. Because of what you do, I have to balance encounters to what is inside here.
If it makes you feel any better, Blood Hunter will be the dip out of Monk. Monk will be the main source for the character.
I still have to look at 17 different curses.
But you don't have to learn it all the way to level 20 is what I'm saying.
Dolby gave me a pretty good education on Blood Hunter, but it is Blood Hunter's perfectly fine once your player that's playing it knows how to blood hunt. It's rough when they're just learning, because you're like, you kind of grind to a gears. You're like, oh shit, I have these two things that trigger at the very beginning of the attack, and then I got something that triggers on the end of it.
Yeah, it's not for I don't think a player that is not ready to like constantly keep up with mechanics.
It's a Pathfinder class in D&D.
Yeah.
But that you want to play something that's mechanical, and it gives you an option to do so in 5e.
And I think honestly, it was less about playing Blood Hunter and more about what I wanted the character to be. And this just because I went with like monk, fighter, and like I went with a bunch of different shit. I built so many characters, and I was like, this is the one that fits best. I even did like monk, barbarian, some other multi-class shit, and I was like, well, I want it to be specifically this, and there's a couple ways you could do it, but this one was like the coolest in my mind, and fit the most thematically.
I love it.
So I don't want to say too much more.
Oh.
That's it. That's all you get.
God. Adam.
Oh, who, me? All right. I feel like I'm obligated to start off by saying I did not take the lucky feat.
You fool! You fool of a took.
That's just throwing that out there. No, I am playing a Tiefling Wizard. With these specifically the School of Abjuration, so protective magic. But rest assured, I have the ability to lay on some hurt too, shall I need to. It's going to be a bit different than Gale Everstorm in a lot of different ways. And I'm excited to play it. And I also don't want to go too much into it because, what's the fun in that? So, yeah. I will give you that. Yes, I did take Counterspell. I have it this time. All right, I have it. But no, I did not take Lucky because I was like, it's more fun when it goes horribly.
Wait till our big boss fight and you're dying. You're like, this is way more fun to roll than that one.
Well, I'll be mad for the moment, but, look, I think brand new campaign, I'm going to be rolling all the 20s. Mudcat's going to be rolling all the 1s. It's going to be the perfect symmetry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's probably what'll happen.
Yes, you don't believe it at all. Because neither do I. But yeah. So I'm excited. Tiefling Wizard.
How big
Abjuration.
Are your horns? Can I ask that question?
Oh, whoa.
It's that easy.
Wow. Okay, that's take me out to dinner first. Jeez. No, I got decent. They're not actually super big. Just two nice, beautiful nubs.
5.5.
You got a
5.5 workhorse.
I do have a picture. Yeah, I think it's also on my.
She just hasn't looked at all our pictures.
It's also on my character sheet, so if you click on the link, you can see my mug.
40 Man is asking
tiefling.
about Gothic lineages out there. They actually just dropped. This will be like the first material they're finally working for like vampire players.
Oh yeah.
And like having hex blood and reborn. I haven't gone through and read all of it yet, but it'll be available to playtest in our side games for sure.
I definitely want to play a vampire.
I can also tell you that having gone through like a bunch of different character iterations over the last couple of weeks, that there's some really dope UA content in D&D right now as well.
A lot of it. 40, there's no doubt. I'm sure the next character you build will be a vampire. This is fun because this piece is done by Snyder. I don't know how to pronounce the middle name. I know Snyder and obviously Crawford. So this is big dog swinging on this one. This is a big piece from them. So they're taking this very, very seriously. Oh my God, becoming a hag? Is that really what's in?
Hell yeah.
What class is that?
This is no, these are lineages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hallow, I decided to go the AC route because I try to theme all of my characters a specific way, right? Based on the backstory that I create and the school. And it felt like if I was a defensive, protective wizard, then I would also be light on my feet and dexterous and more difficult to hit just innately. Plus some backstory stuff in there that, you know, maybe we'll get to at some point. So yeah.
Becca.
Hi.
Everyone wants to know.
I kill children.
God, he's really going for the throat.
She does this to me all the time, all right? This is just payback.
No, you're always picking on me. Why are you so mean?
Yeah,
Legit?
what?
Oh my gosh.
He just rolled a 1 on his manners. Don't worry about it.
You're so mean to me. I don't even know what I do to you.
Damn it, that's right.
I'm the nicest person. I will be rolling with a turtle, an absolutely adorable turtle named Gitzi. I'm very excited to play her. She's a lavender toned, shiny silverback that's just absolutely full of attitude, and we're playing her as a paladin. An interesting build. I think what's really unique is RoBear, we had connected a little bit on a custom weapon for her.
Yeah.
Since I had created her forever ago, like what this image is in my head, and I'm like, I can't part with it. I've seen it too many times. And you were ever so kind to accommodate on this. But we took a whip and we put a blade at the end of it.
It was, you know, it's not something that doesn't have a precedent. Thorn Whip is already there for a whip that has, you know, can do piercing damage, and it comes up a lot. Sometimes people want to live their best Simon Belmont life, and now Adam actually knows what that's like. He didn't know what Castlevania was till this week. I'm very excited. He's watching. Like,
I'm binging through it.
No,
I'm binging through it.
No connection to the game or anything. You never heard the theme song either? I can't, like, I'm so excited to share Castlevania with you. It's just something that that's very iconic of my youth. You get to experience. Yeah. When he's like texting me, he's like, "This hunter's the shit."
I was like, he's like Mudcat, but Mudcat's nicer.
Saying something.
I mean, Valis. That's what I meant. Sorry. Same thing. Yes.
They're the same.
Oh, dude, I get excited every time you send me a Castlevania text now. Like, I'm so pumped about it.
Oh, I just finished season 2, and I was like, fuck, like, what? And there's more. There's stuff that just keeps happening.
Like, it'll like the one shot you were a part of will make so much more sense now with Strahd and his son. When I pulled the Allier card with Day Arts, like, now you get to see where it comes from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, Gitzi, like, we talk about, like, whip is an iconic weapon that people want to use a lot, and you don't, like, people aren't going to take it that aren't rogues. Like, the only way you're using a 1d4 weapon is if you have sneak attack damage. And the big advantage that's going to come into play this time, and Radio's going to understand this, it's going to be more about, like, what can I conceal? Like, you're using daggers because you can conceal them. You can't conceal those short swords. Like, it's going to become much more important about how you're kitted out when you're in the city of what people can see and what you're trying to do. I'm excited to see everybody's charisma lines and how they're going to pile through, because there's just exponential more interactions now.
Oh yeah, we were definitely focused on our charisma builds for
the same.
But
I mean, it's no surprise that I built this character around combat. So,
but also, we'll be using the substitute rule and going in and changing intimidation and letting that be your damage stat as well. So if you are a brute, like, it's not just sweet talking people, sometimes it's strong arming. So we will be using that variant that's not built into charisma, because I love that. I think it's an important part. And I'm going to do an increasingly more apparent job on like how you guys break down and move in between these potential barriers and people that can open up doors. A much clearer pathway on my side of like, what does it take to unlock? Because most of that in the other games is just improv. Okay, how are they doing? What did they say? I set a DC, there we go for it. There's going to be more skill games involved with this, where it's like, okay, give me a lengthy conversation. I'm going to set this at a 12, 14, 16 and let them go from that, where it'll unlock through conversation. I'm excited for that, because that allows for us to have more improv with a dice challenge in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Traps.
Cool. I got the intimidation skill written down on the new document. Use main damage stat. Done.
Yeah,
That's all
because
you're going to be doing.
it says in the file, it says use strength, but that doesn't account for like, I'm just as equally scared of someone with a bow or a gun. Like, if they're proficient, I don't need a hulking beast back behind there if the dude's got a crossbow that hasn't missed yet pointed to my throat. I'm gonna back off. And we're gonna do more of that. Like I told the guys to focus on, like, I wanted this to be a little Witcher-like on this one. We're gonna be a little bit grittier. We're still gonna be able to do hero-like things over the course, but I definitely want it to feel that kind of a little bit of dark hopelessness that's in there within that setting, that like you really feel that you're up against the wall and the man within this one. Whereas, right now we come from, divine intervention rolls every week.
Well, it's a build-up, right? Like,
yeah,
that
there's
was
a build-up.
2 years in the making, and this is like starting brand new. Like,
there's
you're fighting goblins in the sewer, bitch. Get used to it, or whatever, right? Like, or there's like changing the first session.
That's kind of honestly, I think it's kind of nice playing something different and like being able to like have abilities and spells, and especially as you rank up, like being able to add stuff to your character that the rest of the group doesn't know about and that chat doesn't know about. Because then you can like pull out something, a new ability or a new feat or a new something, and be like, do something really cool with it. And versus playing level 20 where everyone pretty much knows what the fuck you're gonna do. You're gonna swing with your biggest shit because you have to. So I'm excited for that.
And I have seen all your puzzles, traps, way more puzzles than puzzles, but I have invested in a significant stack of those as well, from some of the best minds out of the DM's Guild Adept, which I'm excited for. I got a nice little stack of reading material. When it comes to those in the campaign, I want something that can be solved simply. Like, we're not talking like, we're not trying to stump the swab here. Like, we don't want the campaign to come to a grinding halt and we're just not able to move forward. But using the skills of creative writers that to tap into, I'm very excited to see, because they're on the same wavelength with that. So I'm excited to see some writing from the outside, how to incorporate some of them in a good spot. Like, I think it would be really fun, especially for episode diversification. It would be nice to where we have one where we're really RP heavy and focused, but I'm able to sneak in a cool puzzle. that's into it, and that becomes part of the dice game. I don't necessarily have to set up and do gridded combat, because we're always thinking about and I mean, this came up last night. We were very close. I was very close to letting us just RP for another 30-40 minutes and never even go into gridded combat, because we're just having so much fun RPing. We're just having a blast, and you know, that's the best part of the episode. Like, it's all the bullshit and the fun that we had before, and then we just get our in with some bad rolls and me rolling super high. But I want to have that feather in my cap where we can pull that out more. And there'll be within this city, there's a lot more little pieces that I prepare than the more linear storytelling style that we've been on before for a little bit. Because there won't be there's not going to be a big story beat like right off the bat. It's going to be about living, surviving. Like, there isn't like one big piece that all of a sudden happens, because you're not heroes yet. You don't give a shit. If a dragon attacks the fucking city, you're trying to figure out where you're going to eat tomorrow. Like, you're not, ain't nobody going after that dragon. Like, you're going to move. Like, it's fun at this level to like, okay, if bad shit happens, you actually just going to be like, well, you know what? I hope someone else deals with that shit. I hope it didn't burn my apartment. Like, it'll be fun to take that burden off for a little bit and have cooler interactions and quests to go with it. So they'll be able to go some different pathways that, like, I got 5 or 6 little things laid out, and all of a sudden, okay, we're headed over this way. Perfect. I have this laid out. I'm going to pull from there. Yes, we are starting at level 5. Good old level 5. My barbarian gnome. What were you going to say?
Said level 5 is a tease when you're multi-classing, because you're one level away from getting a feat.
Multi-class, you need to be 6. You're going to be asking me every day. Like, when you multi-class, you need to be 6.
It'll be fine. I'll be okay.
Oh, I know. Like, I've been there with our players. Like, come on, I just need to get 6, man. I need to get 6, chief.
Yeah, come on. I'm real close.
Hey,
I'm real close.
Hey, can I do a side quest? You know, not with the rest of the group. I'm just trying to get my XP up. You know.
Can I just dip? First episode, I'm just gonna make some sort of pact with the fucking devil to get a warlock level. Boom, done.
No better place than Baldur's Gate.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'll just take one level in warlock while we're here, please.
You would.
And yeah, chat, here's the big tease. I haven't built my character yet. How about that beat for you?
And
Not
here I
done.
thought you were saving your reveal for the end. So, you know, and
It is the end of the show's beginning entrance of next week.
We'll find out later.
Find out next week.
No, I have it narrowed down to 3 different ones now. I have it narrowed down to 3 different ones.
Well, if you need help, I have 50 characters created on Hero Forge.
I've seen them, and most of them are terrifying.
Well, thank you.
I will still be playing a support character. And to be honest with you, I wanted to wait and see if anybody did any changes to their characters, because the most important thing for me is to let their characters shine. So whatever they're doing, I need to be in the opposite kind of direction of. And that's the most important part with what I run, because they're boots on the ground and a character within it, but they are there to help accentuate what the party is doing and not necessarily to be leading the party. And there are some choices that you make that can really head that way. So I mean, you pretty well know, you know, what my choices are. There either is going to be a type of cleric, there's going to be a type of druid, there could be a type of sorcerer, possibly. There could be a ranger.
Ooh. Kitty.
All of my nonsense right now.
Yeah, there's one character that I really want to do. Really want to do, but I don't know if it's for this campaign or not. We'll see. We'll see with that one. It may be that one maybe need to be placed in a different spot. Also with this campaign, there's a lot of opportunity for different NPCs. So I'm not concerned that there's going to be a lot of these that I've built out that they may be interacting with in other spots in the city. It gives me an opportunity there to play out some of those different personality pieces that aren't necessarily with the party day in and day out. But I will still be covering the main role of support within the party. But I do want to make healing a little bit more accessible. And I haven't quite settled on that piece completely. There's still gonna be a couple of things here in the last week that I want to fine line line out completely of what a turn looks like. And I think we can do a little bit better. And it mainly involves with like, okay, if you rattling off a bonus action spell after you've cast a main spell. Like it's really just line iteming out, like letting you do a couple things. Like I'm really toying with the Mercer line where you're able to rip off a healing word like after your spell if you want to.
Oh boy.
Like I'm gonna take a good look at it. It's more about just I want to be able to maximize what a player can do on their turn the best I can and not feel handcuffed, because when you're designing for 4 to 5 turns, like how can you do the coolest amount of stuff within that? So, and as always, shit will change and evolve during the course of our campaign, but I am glad to start. It's such a different feeling starting with this much experience now. Very exciting to start a new campaign with the chops that everybody has now. Going in and improvising within a city, there's going to be opportunities too where we're going to pass off NPC duties and do more of that stuff. Like we did more of that inside of the very first Neon Regimes than we did almost anything else. So Becca and Mud are familiar with that, but I'm going to call on the cast members to improv, and I'm going to give you literally on those NPCs, I'm going to hit probably DM heroes. I'm going to hit it, and I'm just going to send you the card and be like, bam, okay, here's your improv contest. This is who's sitting over at the edge of the bar.
Do this.
And then
I love
roll
that.
every piece of shit in the city. Mudcat.
I don't know. This guy looks kind of grumpy. Mud, you want to take this one?
By the way, for you players out there, if you're not familiar with DM heroes, I can't recommend these folks enough. You got to check out their site. It's fantastic. Like, I clicked on it right now. Kent Silverfin, male halfling hat maker, who is fabulous. 52 years old, 3'8", monotone voice, involuntary nervous laughter before talking, boast about their family, randomly touches people, has shiny shoes, doesn't like the rogue type in the party, was beat up by Heron Battlestone.
I think that's great. That's a great, very clear, distinct character in mind.
And it comes with a picture of him, so it's literally playing an improv game for us, which is gonna be awesome.
You know that made me just have to go click on one just to see how it rolled. I got Elgoth Briarfell, the male elf locksmith, and it has a dash and then just says burp. I don't know why. Burp. And it's
drunk.
130 years old, 5'8", penetrating voice, makes noises like pow and whap. And
walking onomatopoeia. There we go. No.
Here's his traits though: is sharpening a dagger, hates sunlight, loves gossip, mimics the party's dialect.
Oh God.
He's just like, here's your trait: you were sharpening a knife. That's it.
That's who you are.
That's
Congratulations.
And it's nice.
You see him again 3 weeks later. Shink, shink, shink. Still doing it.
And when you get that piece, you don't have to use all of it, but it's nice that it's like, okay, cool. Here's an index card. Here's the one thing that I'm really confident with doing. Okay, I'm going to take that trait and I'm rolling with it.
That's going to be a lot of fun, I think, because you're just going to pass it to one of us and be like, "Oh, you have it," and oh, okay, radio. It's in your DM. You're going to be the guy at the end of the bar. Oh, okay.
It helps. Right. It helps not wear me out because in the city there's a ton of people. And it deserves to feel diverse. And to feel diverse, you really need people to attack it in multiple angles. At some point, you'll have met Colonel Sanders 17 times with me, and like, okay, we've obviously met your Southern archetype. Like, can you please move on to the next, RoBear?
You mean Lord Roaringhorn?
I just want Mudcat to get one that's just like outgoing, energetic, loves life and everyone around them, is super loud and like just so he could just go wild with it.
How many drinks have I had? That's gonna depend.
You know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Oh my dude, I've seen this art of 40 Man just sent me one. He said this is the person that you should play. It's like the gnome perm that it gives you. Yeah, this dude's amazing. Yeah, Resnick Vavris. He's a male gnome nurse. There is no hope. A breathy voice. Boast about their last one night stand. Boast about their genitalia, but has a limp. This dude's awesome. But yeah, use that guys for your campaign. It's also a great place to generate character art. Super nice place, and it lets you save all these little spots out in the bottom. I need to become a patron of these guys down here in the bottom. We've used them several times. Super great tool for world building. Really love what they've done with that. But yeah, we're gonna be transitioning in. Thursday night's gonna be the main night. Wednesdays are gonna be a little crazy for a little bit, like with what we do. Expect the content to be shorter mini campaigns because we got to focus, like, energy's going in on this guy and getting it established. Not worrying about playing 2 serious campaigns is gonna be nice for a change. I know we all want to play some Viking D&D together. We'll get there. I know we want to play some Star Wars D&D together. Like, we have more stories to tell, but we're gonna have to get those at a piece at a time. Like, sinking into this is gonna be of the utmost importance. And luckily here's with some crazy issues, it's been nice to have the days where we shifted around where we could get it in. We didn't have to take a break, which is super nice. Like, I can absolutely see at some point in time us doubling up on an episode because we want to. Like, if we really want to play in this universe twice in the same week, I can see that popping up at some point in time. But it's going to be a fluid situation with me because there's going to be more rare drop content as well. Our second day could end up moving somewhere else, but that's all about us agreeing on it and how it shakes out. So for right now, our main campaign is going to be on Thursday, and Wednesday is going to be a day where we're doing something a little bit extra. I can't even tell you what we're doing next Wednesday because we don't know. But our main priority, like it was getting you guys the Wild West 2-shot, which you guys had earned through goals, and I'm still getting Star Wars ready. Star Wars is an undertaking. Star Wars is different, but I am excited about what Star Wars is pushing me to do. because I believe it's going to make the return to a cyberpunk campaign more possible. Because there's just certain things that we can't do inside of D&D Beyond right now when we go into a world-altering universe to make it run smoother. So Star Wars, we're going to be playing with character sheets that are built for Star Wars in a G drive. So I'm going to have to manage those sheets. But what it does is it allows us the customization of these different system sets. And that's what's very important. So like when we play Cyberpunk again on here, we're going to be running straight carbon rules on carbon sheet. And I think that's going to help improve it. Like it'll eliminate a ton of the spells. Like they won't be available stuff. It should help simplify and make that universe run smoother. Because what we do is we end up getting into some game breaking shit that's based in D&D that just doesn't need to be there. And it's super hard to get our sheets right because they just weren't built for pew pew combat. Like the D&D just doesn't have that built out in the way that it needs to be. Like you can't even pull down like +2 weapons, that are firearms. So
Okay, they really want me to play this Wookiee bard, like real bad.
I think you would nail it. It's beautiful.
I could see myself in the role of some sort of HUD, I think.
That Wookiee could get us to inside any cantina. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I say ever.
Now you need to choose one of us to translate for you. Who do you trust?
He said, I'm Groot.
There it is. It's Mudcat. He's going to translate every single time. Actually, yes, that is exactly who's going to be my translator.
I feel like
because he just gives me constant Han Solo vibes, where he's just like, I'm pretty sure he said this, and that's what I'm going with. It's just sure.
You're gonna regret that.
No, I'm not. It's going to be amazing.
As a meta, I'll just make everything you say a quote from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
No ticket.
It's in a museum.
Belongs in a museum.
Got it.
I see Zero saying out there, less force usage, more Rogue One. Well, I do agree with you. I love me some Rogue One. I can tell you that we will be playing in the High Republic because that's the buzz right now. So like
the High Republic. Oh.
Okay.
We'll be in High Republic era because that's kind of 2021 is what it's all about. So there's gonna be a lot of Jedis running around.
Yep.
But that's where all the buzz is at right now. So we'll be playing with it within the buzz.
Okay, good to know. Start the research.
This is good. I got a Kindle coming sometime soon, and the first thing I'm reading is the Bane trilogy from Legends. So I'm in on it.
All in, dude. I mean, I am
read Thrawn and Plagueis.
Are you reading the new Thrawn books?
I just literally got them. Like, and gonna be going through them eventually.
Nice. I've read the old Thrawn books, but not the new one.
I
I'm
love
illiterate.
I love the villains. The Nihil. Oh my god. That's so much fun. I'm very, very excited about these High Republic villains that I'm learning about. Super fun.
Star Wars is the craziest fandom because literally everything that exists in the canon or in Legends is about 20 times cooler than anything that's in the movies. The entire encompassing world is way cooler than the actual source IP.
That's your that's your MO, man. you want all the other fleshed out and technical characters. Like, it makes sense.
I'm just saying, old Republic's way cooler.
That's why I'm being a Wookiee, because then all I have to do is just growl for the entire episode, and I'm good.
Done.
What if you had a bottom bar where you literally typed out what you were saying? You did it. You literally captioned yourself.
That would be great.
Oh
It
God.
just pops up, and then Mudcat still translates for me anyway. Like,
Hanging your head.
you idiot, we shouldn't go there. Oh, he's saying we absolutely should go there.
I will say this for everybody. I want Twitch's solution that's built in for closed captioning for live games. They have made it ridiculously difficult because you have to build it into OBS, but let it be known that it is one of my main goals to get closed captioning in for the Twitch agent, because it's there, like you can get to it. I know there's a lot of folks in the community that really would be beneficial and help them be a part of the live audience and not have to wait for captioning on YouTube. So I'm there. I want to help you guys out. It is about building it in, and we may be switching from OBS to another program as well. So I have to figure out, how that works. But I know that'll help our folks that are hard of hearing and beyond. It is on my priority list to do. It should not be as difficult as what it is. It's ridiculous.
How Twitch doesn't just have like a built-in closed captioning just built into their entire website is beyond me in 2021.
It should not take me pulling in integrations to make it work. It should just be able to hit and not overlay on top of our product. Like we shouldn't have to build that out into the overlay. Like it's already there. It's built into the system. I don't know why it takes the extra leg for us, especially for, what they preach about so often. It is pretty ridiculous, but we're gonna get there. Especially with my setup now, how I'm able to work on the rig makes it considerably easier. Because I transfer my stream over to the cabin, and once we're over at the cabin, I can completely pull the power in the office and do all kinds of crap with it, which is very much needed because I have the cable. I have the same rat's nest of cables down here from when I started 3 years ago, and most of it needs to be ripped out. Most of it needs to go. Like I still have all my old Cat 5 cabling underneath here that I don't even use. Oh God.
Classic.
Bad news. What questions do y'all have about the next campaign? What are stuff that you guys want to see as an audience? This can be stream loot cards influenced. This could be, campaign wants information that makes it easier for you guys to want. Like this is a time for your voice to be heard about the viewing experience on your side. One thing I can say for you guys on this campaign, like I'm going to compile, because this is going to be very important, sharing with you the background information for Baldur's Gate, so that you're just as prepared as I am. That's something I've always done a really poor job of doing, is I go through the miles of like, I know about it, but I haven't shared a way for you to get to the information that your character should know easily. Like you don't need to be searching for the information. I should pull that out for you, pull that into a file, and you're like, okay, here it is. Here's the 3 pages that you can read to really have a good feeling on like the background and what's going on. And something for you to consume, so then you feel you're more ready. Like you understand, you have that picture of Baldur's Gate in your head that you can help bring in, and it's not so much like, well, I'm just doing it on the spot every week. I'll be excited for that for sure. Lofty goal. More fireballs. Get the fuck out of here. So I'm glad you asked about this. NPCs. We will be mirroring the same benefits that Rare Drop does. We're going to have NPC voting inside the Patreon. So Patreon members are going to be able to vote once a month between a set of NPCs to be incorporated inside the campaign. So that is going to be an active piece within the Patreon where you can contribute there and create a character. We've just done that for the first time over in the Rare Drop set, and it was super awesome because they thought they picked somebody really memey, and I was able to like convert it and like make it way cooler than like just their meme character that they thought it was going to be. Oh God, Radio, you went to water painting again.
He is an artiste.
He is a work of art.
Oh, you are melting.
Oh shit. Handwritten novelization of each episode published and printed prior to the week. Yeah, having the ability to catch up somehow by a couple of paragraphs is on the
All
list.
right, Shady, get on it.
No, I think he wants a full hardback cover.
Yeah.
like every, with illustration as well.
Having a way to catch up. I know, One Piece by design in the campaign, especially on YouTube, we're going to always group it by arc. So like the thumbnail is going to have a particular design and listing by arc. So like if you want to catch up, it's like, okay, I don't need to start at the beginning. You can go to the beginning of the arc that they're on. And I know this is how I got into Critical Role when it did. I started at the beginning of a certain arc because they told me how the breakdown was on it. Had I not known, I would have gone all the way back to the end and maybe never even got to where they were on that piece. So I know that's super, super helpful for a new community member that comes in to be able to get caught back on that piece. Open notes is a different that's a whole different bird there. I mean, at that point you're talking about somebody managing a wiki, like and those things take a lot of time and a lot of work. That's a lot of that stuff is super, super like community driven, and I would absolutely love to have stuff like that, but there are certain things I don't I don't ask. There may be some people in the community, they're very inspired to do that, and we can assist them in that way, but that's never something that I'll be like, I need people to sign up for this free labor. Like no way, man. That's somebody's fan labor of love there, because it's a lot of work. Lot of work.
You heard him, chat. Start the wiki page. Let's go.
That is not, organizing that shit is not my skill set. That is for sure. But there's a lot of these other tools out there, people are using it successful, like World Anvil and whatnot. That's just, I'm the creator. I am not the organizer. Lot of crazy shit on that. Not campaign related, but I had to go. Oh, merchandise. So yeah, it's no like my merch is coinciding inside of a store with Rare Drop. I have a timeline on it that I can't share with you guys, but the minute that it's there, it's game on. So I will have, what's nice about it, it's going to be managed for me. I get to worry about creating the content for the store, and that's it. That's the important part, so we can get more stuff out. The first things that I'm looking at for inside the merch store are obviously some baseline t-shirts, and I want to get posters. I want posters because I want to do water art commissions of these characters to commemorate them from Game of Saving Throws. I want to do magic level art for them, and I want to set aside that budget so we can immortalize them in some really, really cool pieces. That's the first thing, and then we'll get our characters done here for this campaign as well. Yeah. Mugs, yeah, I even got where's it laying around here? Shit, I don't even know where it went. We had a pretty good looking DTD mug. I'm still about that black mug with red lettering. Just like the official D&D ones.
For Omen, but it has a hole in it. So it doesn't
Ridiculous.
actually work.
No, all you have to do is when you get your mug, you have to immediately just smash it on the floor.
Smash it, yeah.
You know what I have a problem with mugs, merch mugs? Who the hell drinks out of these tiny little 11.5 ounce mugs? Dude, they're little
Yeah,
baby.
they're
I don't drink out of that. Like, why does it all of a sudden, because it's merch, have to be something I don't use? Like,
They're all tiny.
yeah. I mean, like, if we need anything, it would be freaking printed on freaking, mock Yetis.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I drink out of.
Yeah, nat 20 of Mudcat on one side, and one of me on the other. It's dual sides.
The only thing I use my freaking 12-ounce Yeti for is for a triple shot of espresso in it and like whiskey. It's all like, if it goes in a 12-ounce mug, that shit is potent.
It's got to get you there.
Oh, I guess this is something that that the audience doesn't really know about. Saved by the Spell branding is going away, so we will no longer be saved by the spell at anything. We're just we're leaving that behind. So everything is just everything is just CaptainRoBear's, and it's the campaign. So we're cutting ties with this old branding and moving away from it. The overlay, when we put it together, will look like the overlay that we did for Viking D&D for the Horn of Valhalla. So it's gonna be one. We're not gonna have two. We're not gonna have a split. So we won't be doing this number anymore. Oh God, I really murdered that transition if you click too fast. Thanks, OBS. But we're gonna have the guests over on the right hand side, and then we're gonna have the battle map over in this left quadrant. There's gonna be a small ad space underneath it, like a banner bar size, that we're going to have the ability to sell to advertisers and sponsors. And then next to my box in the top left-hand corner, we're going to have a square ad space that rotates through what show it is, plus other information that we want to relay out, like a schedule will roll through there about other shows and stuff that's happening throughout the week. And there'll also be an ad opportunity by there. But what's cool about having this as a static modular is that whenever we go into reruns, I can layer over and change that to any current information that I need to. So you can be sitting and watching the episode that we're on, and I can layer my own ad right over the top of that space. And since it's static and stays between all those shows, I can be delivering pertinent information while we're in rerun mode. And that's going to be awesome for getting quick, easy information out.
GameStop ticker.
But here, I will, for you though, you guys won't see anybody from here, but I'll show you what that looks like. You'll just see me. Oh, actually, everybody's, oh, this is Horn of Valhalla. That's why. That's why that's different. So yeah, it's going to look like this, except for there'll be more room underneath where this battle map is at. Like where it says DM, CaptainRoBear and Horn of Valhalla. We're going to snipe that out. We'll move me a little bit to the left and then to the right of me. And there'll be a little square spot for advertisement there. And then one right underneath here. And then we'll have, this will also give us the opportunity for a guest layout on this side whenever we want to have guests inside the main show. we will have room for said guests. So it will fill all the way. I forgot that we could actually go into this. We had this once.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's real.
I have a
Witchbreaker.
question. Do we get to pick our own background scenery this time?
Ooh.
From a list of background sceneries, maybe?
I'm completely fine with you picking anything from MTG.
Okay. Dope. I just always wondered that.
Pick out a especially something that flavors and adds to your character. I'm all about.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is something that's super jarring. That's like a huge like change in color palette or something like that, to where it makes it strange to look at the show. That's the only way it's going to get vetoed. But most of these tones all are pretty earthy and blend together.
Nice.
I am all about you guys pulling one of those lands out. And if you need help as well, if you're like, hey, I'm looking for this, tap into me as a knowledge source, because I'm in there every day looking at inspirational art that's from there to be able to pull stuff. So I can help guide you to where to go look and piece stuff out, because I've kind of figured out the flavors of all the different sets that are out there.
Dope.
Do I allow Roll20 in the D&D Beyond extension? The problem with it sends the dice on auto roller, and it sends the dice going all over the place. That's the only thing that sucks about that connection right now. That's a huge pain in the ass for that. But the new overlay like this, I have it spec'd out on the battle map where it's damn near perfect, to where you won't miss, and you won't like miss any of the dice like clipping with it. But you know, this is also a revolving situation, because at any point in time a developer can come out with a tool that mirrors what happens with Roll20 dice that we find better and we use it, or D&D Beyond comes out with an overlay for us, we'll immediately use it. Like I cannot wait for us to be able to, like, that's what like is the dream, is that it's a interconnected piece with that, so where we can use our own custom dies that's giving that awesome flavor.
That would be, if we could use Roll or D&D Beyond, and it actually had like your full character sheet with the map and with all that other stuff that Roll20 has. That would be sick, because they've got so many cool digital dice, and like I bought them, I don't have anything to do with them.
We want to really, really, really bad. However, getting everybody to see the reaction at the same time, the way that we roll them right now, is still the focal point. We just want to be able to do that with the other. Once we're able to, it's game
It would
on.
just be dope if they had those like that, all the Roll20 kind of stuff built into D&D Beyond. That would be dope.
Yeah. I do know this, like I am going to spend the time to make sure all the players have macros for their attacks and heals and spells, so that they're one button clicks. Now that like I know how to make them easily and to assist players, like I want us to have as smooth as a way to roll in Roll20 right now as possible. And that is definitely macro bound. Is that a subtle ask? Yes. Yo, Flacco, appreciate the support. Thank you. 3 months. What other questions did I miss up there? Stream loot cards might need a shrink after the change of setup. Oh, well, of course. It just scales. Nothing hard with that. Nothing too hard with that.
A dedicated spot for Streamloots cards, if there's a spot where they don't go over the dice rolls.
It's hard. Like, it's hard finding the real estate. It's hard finding the real estate for it. But I think what we do is we just put the dice overlay on top of the cards. I think that's something I've just not really thought about, that like I'm seeing the roll clear, but the audience isn't seeing the roll clear. That I think we can do in the meantime is just making sure that the dice are on top of it. Ooh, but Yeah, how would I do that when this time we're not using an overlay? That's a good point. It's a good point. I wish there was more freaking room, man. Wish there was more room. Maybe that's what I build the stream loot card into a box down here at the bottom, and then there's just one box that's available for a guest down here, because the likelihood of us having 2 guests at the same time are 0 to none.
Yeah.
So maybe
pretty well.
Maybe a stream loot spot, and then the die can go in the guest box. It's actually a really good point. I'm gonna add that in my notes, because we're still. I doubt that we're gonna have this overlay for the first couple of episodes, because property taxes came along and stopped me from being able to invest into it. But that's a really good point about moving it away from there, especially when they're coming in hot. All of a sudden you're like, fuck, I'm trying to watch the action. I feel you on that, because I'm able to cheat. We're all able to cheat and look at our own, but you can't get rid of them. Over the players instead of the map ain't happening. You'll
slap it on my face.
It's fine. That way we see it. We feel it.
Well, I'm sure like there's a, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something that can do to like find a dedicated spot or, something like that. Like
in the future, ever think about using tabletop? What do you mean?
Like the Steam client? Like the game? Where you like tabletop, where's tabletop simulator? Is that what they're talking about? Where you can like build in, it's basically Roll20, but for all tabletop games.
Oh yeah. No. We'll always be in a Roll20 client, because for one, that's how I play the soundtrack. We're really tethered to that. It's surprisingly, there are very, very few options that allow me to play a soundtrack to my players and audience that's in sync. Yeah, I doubt we'll ever use any kind of tabletop simulator. Way too much. Most of it's too much effort for little you get out of it.
Not to mention you would be using a lot of resources to run that locally versus in the browser.
Oh yeah,
I think something like that. It's pretty.
It's a whole other beast. It's a whole other beast.
Yeah, it hits your CPU hard.
I can't ever say that we won't mess around with one sometime for something that's special, but nothing on an everyday campaign. Not an everyday campaign. Yeah. That's pretty well it. So, I get to tease you guys with who I bring in, but that's about it. We'll be starting up Baldur's Gate next week, 9 p.m. CST. You guys will have to stay tuned. You'll have D&D over the course of the whole week. We're still playing out Sands of Gancaster, laying down some cool shit. You'll get to see me reemerge with a new healer. Maybe I won't roll 3 nat ones.
Poor Hiram.
Poor Hiram.
I know.
Oh whoa, the widow's son.
I'm proud. I'm still proud.
He tried, and that's what matters.
Oh, exciting news. Adam has emotes going up on his channel soon, and you're going to want a piece of his D1. I should show them. Can I show them?
Yeah, do it. They got to get approved, but yeah,
yeah, you're gonna get approved. It's not like you're clapping cheeks in this or anything.
I don't know. I think you just gave me an idea for another emote.
Look at this one, guys. Look at this one. How good is this? Oh, I can't wait. You can all be number 1 in his heart.
And on your dice.
And then cry.
There's going to be no greater feeling than seeing our nat 1 next to your nat 1 all
God.
throughout the chat.
Let's not. Yeah, okay. It was like I talked to the group and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is you have to do this, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, number one in your hearts and number one in your dice. It's just destiny at this point."
Aw, what a pitch.
Oh, by the way, what time is it? What time is
Time to
it?
get ill.
It's 9 p.m. my time.
11 p.m. CST.
Oh yeah, so
11:59.
11:59. So
No.
here in a few moments, it will be Caustic's birthday.
What? Oh shit.
Really?
Oh man.
We missed out on a birthday session.
That's okay. I don't like to celebrate.
Well, nobody does, but hey, it's not your choice once your friends find out. Happy
And,
birthday.
Thank
now
you.
officially you are old.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
283. I am a young elf.
She's a young or she's an old turtle. That you know what that means.
No, we don't know what that means. That means nothing. It means nothing.
No, Mud, what does it mean?
Mudcat's excited.
You'll have to read about the turtle race.
Turtles getting old means nothing.
That's fantastic.
You're terrible.
What a perfect way to put a bow on session 0.
If you guys
Mudcat's
want-
well, I guess we should probably get going.
I'm giving my dogs a birthday cake tomorrow if you would like to join us.
Wait, your dog's a birthday cake?
Well, yes. I didn't need a birthday cake. I'm making turnovers for myself, but I was gonna make my dogs a birthday cake tomorrow on stream.
That's
The
awesome.
legit feat. You crit on
They'll
that
get
one.
food.
You fell on that 20. So there we go.
It's appropriate. It's easier to celebrate when you pretend it's someone else's birthday. Like my dogs. So Chief and Belle will be getting cake.
Oh, I love it.
They'll be very adorable. I'm sure Belle will love it for sure. She'll eat anything.
What?
If it's good or bad, she'll eat it.
One
Doesn't
more,
matter.
One more item I going in there. Angel, we're not actually playing. I love you to death. But this is session 0 for the new campaign.
Who gets it? Who starts with an item I?
I
Find
will,
out next week when we have our first session.
Here's your
Hey!
character. He walks through the street and he trips over an item I.
We should all be so lucky.
I will give your card back. Don't you worry. I love that the 2 cards that were played were both itemized.
They're ready. They want us to start off on the right foot.
Yeah, they do. They
First
want to
item
give,
I in that one.
Yes, it was, and it was for me. All right, Mud, I need you to go ahead and start rolling your eyes for me so I can get one. Okay, snap 20 it up. And
But yes, if you guys are
Easy.
wondering, I am going to be playing some Magic right after this. So stick around. We're going to play with the new cards. I'm very, very excited. I went through and I had enough of commons and uncommons to purchase all of them via wild cards, so that when I actually popped my packs, that it could only give me value for all of them. This is the point where I'm at in MTG. So I'm very excited. The Angel decks are chef's kiss. So I'll be playing that in just a second. Schedule is all wonderfully up to date. Remember, whenever you use it over here in the channel, I'm going to be tagging it at the very beginning so you can see when it was last updated at the very beginning. And it takes you to the Twitter link and also the old Discordia. So we'll see you for all the commission D&D over the course of the weekend. And new campaign next weekend. Love y'all. We'll see you later.